It was supposed to be a quiet weekend at my lake cabin. I had driven up Friday night, stocked the fridge, and planned nothing more ambitious than fishing, grilling, and maybe reading a book on the porch. Saturday morning, I wake up to the sound of car doors slamming. A bunch of people are walking up my driveway, carrying clipboards, folding chairs, and a big cooler. I had no idea who they were until I saw the name tags: HOA board member. I didn't even have an HOA. My cabin is on private land, completely separate from any housing development. But these folks didn't knock. They didn't ask. They just marched right past me saying, "Oh, we'll be done in about 2 hours." I'm standing there confused, asking, who exactly are you?" One of them, the guy who seemed in charge, says, "We're the HOA officers for the lakefront community. We're holding our monthly meeting here today. Don't worry, we won't make a mess." I said, "That's nice, but this is my property. I didn't invite you." They laughed like I was telling a joke. "Well," the woman in sunglasses said, "this cabin used to belong to a member of the HOA, so it's basically considered community property." I nearly choked. Used to belong doesn't mean still belongs. I bought this place outright last year. There's no shared ownership, no HOA clause, nothing. They ignored me completely. One of them actually told me to be a good neighbor and step outside so they could conduct business without distractions. That's when I realized they actually expected me to leave my own cabin so they could use it like a clubhouse. I tried being polite at first. I explained that they had no legal right to be there and that I didn't want strangers in my house. The HOA president smirked and said, "If you're going to be difficult, we can discuss fines." That's when I stopped playing nice. I told them they had 2 minutes to leave before I called the sheriff. The president laughed and said, "Go ahead, we know him. He won't care." So I called. When the deputy arrived, I explained the situation and showed him my deed. No HOA, no shared rights. The HOA officers tried to argue that tradition allowed them to meet there because it's always been done that way. The deputy didn't buy it for a second. He told them they were trespassing and gave them a choice: leave immediately or be arrested. Suddenly, all their confidence vanished. They packed up their papers and chairs in record time, muttering about unfriendly neighbors. Before they left, the president tried one last shot. "You'll regret making enemies in this community." I smiled and said, "The feeling's mutual." The deputy told me later that this group had been warned before for overstepping boundaries with other homeowners. They had a habit of acting like they controlled everything within a mile of the lake, whether they owned it or not. That weekend, I still got my fishing trip in. The difference was, now I had a great story to tell and a new sign on my cabin door that says, "Private property, no HOA meetings allowed." Sometimes people just need to be reminded that community doesn't mean we own your stuff.